Hey guys, Horror Lorekeeper here. Today we're pulling apart the one animatronic that was literally built to be pulled apart, the disturbing psychology of Mangle. We'll break down what Mangle looks like, how it behaves and when it shows up, the story that puts it in that cursed corner called Kid's Cove, and the big theories about what's actually inside all those wires. Appearance, behavior, story, theories. So sit back, relax, and let's dive back into the world of FNAF. We need quick context. Mangle lives in the FNAF 2 era. Grand reopening, bright walls, no doors, and a prize corner ticking away like a life support machine. Off to the side sits Kid's Cove, a take apart and put back together attraction that's basically a sanctioned parts bin. Picture a party room with pastel paint flaking off, a pirate backdrop slapped on the wall, and a low table covered in plastic tools. The vibe says safe play, but the floor is a glittery graveyard of screws. That's Mangle's home base, not a stage, a repair pile. Let's actually see it, tour style. We can see a white and pink endoskeleton that started life as a Foxy variant. Cute, glossy, brand approved. Then kids got to help. Now it's lanky and inhuman. A rope of endo struts and wire bundles, with limbs twisted at wrong angles. We notice two heads, the Foxy muzzle with black eye sockets and the smaller endo head, both capable of that slow, awful tilt. The snout is expressionless but unsettling. Painted nose, friendly blush circles, teeth way too clean for the rest of the wreck. Wires hang like seaweed. Plastic ear, metal ear, maybe a hand where an arm used to be. It's mangled and nightmarish, but the colors are cheerful, which is the meanest joke in the room. We also notice extra limbs that don't line up with any reasonable skeleton. A spare arm becomes a hook. A leg becomes a tail. Every night, Mangle looks a bit different, like the room rearranged it while we were checking cams. Up in the ceiling grates, white paws scuttle like a spider. In the right hallway, a figure that's both foxy and not foxy, smiling with radio buzz. Okay, how does it behave? When and why do we actually meet this thing? FNAF 2 loop. Mangle starts parked in Kid's Cove. As nights progress, it moves to the right hallway or the right vent, and eventually the office ceiling. A full intrusion, dangling over your head like a bad chandelier. The trigger isn't just time, it's your divided attention. Every second you're glued to cam 11 winding the music box, or strobing withered Foxy in the hall, you're not tracking the Cove. Mangle slips out with that signature radio static, a crackly, high-pitched interference that lives somewhere between an open walkie-talkie and a broken lullaby. Counters. If you catch Mangle mid-entry in the hall, the Freddy head can sometimes make it hesitate and drift away. If it is already committed to the right vent, mask fast or it will press on through. If it's in the office, hanging from the ceiling, masking won't save you. The room is already compromised. You might squeeze out a few more seconds, but the jump scare is coming, usually when you flip the monitor. That's the cruelty. Like Balloon Boy, Mangle doesn't just hit you on sight, it destroys your routine and then kills you when you try to regain control. Audio pressure. Mangle's presence jams your soundscape. The static sits on your nerves. It makes you rush the music box and mistime the mask. It forces mistakes. In a game about plate spinning, Mangle adds a plate that howls while you're trying to keep the others up. If we grade encounters from basic to late game, basic, Kid's Cove lurker, you learn the static, you clock the right vent, mid, hallway stairs, mask reflex decides your fate, static gets louder, late, ceiling hang, the camera becomes a trap trigger, you look up and realize the office isn't yours anymore. Now the lore connection. Mangle is the poster child for Fazbear thinking, let kids help, translated to sanctioned dismantling. In the FNAF 2 calls, Kid's Cove is pitched as an experiment in interactivity. The result isn't an interactive friend, it's a victim made into an attraction. That setup invites three pillars of the series: possession, spirits attached to what they loved or what killed them, old locations reused. The company keeps opening rooms instead of closing loops. Control tech as cruelty, face scanners, play tables, safety speaking through a smile. Mangle sits right at that intersection, a non-stop repair pile, a fun chore the company hands to children, and if you follow the fandom's most popular reading, a credible candidate for the bite of 87, the only animatronic regularly above head level during the right time period, with a jaw that can approach from overhead during the day. The canon keeps this foggy. We don't get a security tape with a date and a name. We do get patterns, and those patterns say, Mangle is about what constant dismantling does to a mind. Let's walk the story like a narrated playthrough. Setup, investigation, rising danger, final confrontation, ending, and sketch mini profiles as we meet each form. Setup. Kid's Cove. We clock in. We pan past show stage, Toy Freddy, Toy Bonnie, Toy Chica. Clean smiles. Then the camera lands on the mess. Mangle sits in a heap that used to be a performer. Signage calls this normal. We can almost hear a manager saying, "They love taking it apart." Mini profile. Mangle, Cove form. White or pink plating over an exposed Indo. Cheery and broken. Roll. Attraction as repair. Threat. None yet. A promise. Investigation. The static. Night 2 or 3, we hear it. Bzz. Kirk. Eee. Not a song, not footsteps. Static. We check the right vent. A white hand grips the frame. Teeth flash. Too tidy for the jaw they're in. We throw the mask down. It pauses. Then we panic because the music box is low. Mini profile. Mangle. Vent form. Lanky and inhuman. Crawling like a spider. Roll. Flanking piece. Threat. Forced mask timing. Drains attention from the box. Rising danger. Ceiling ownership. Late nights, Mangle stops respecting the edges of the room. It crawls into the office and hangs overhead like a trophy mount. The static is now in our skull. We try to live with it. Flash Foxy, wind the box, check cams, knowing any flip can trigger the kill. Mini profile. Mangle. Ceiling form. Dangling. 2 heads, wires swaying, expressionless but unsettling grin. Roll. Office denial. Threat. Delayed jump scare tied to your next move. Final confrontation. Choice collapse. Night 6. BB laughs. Foxy parks in the hall. The box begs. The right vent hisses. Mangle arrives overhead. We time a miracle wind and drop the cam. The mask comes down a half-second late. Everything hits at once. The rest is teeth and static. That's the gameplay spine. Under it, a psychology that makes Mangle feel worse than a simple hunter. Fragmented identity. Other animatronics feel like single entities. Mangle looks like a bundle. 2 heads, parts in the wrong places. A body that won't settle. That look feeds a common theory. Mangle isn't one spirit. It's a composite. Several children attached to a single chassis that gets taken apart daily, then sloppily fixed. A choir of hurts wearing one badge. That would explain the duet of sounds, radio static plus faint, childlike tones in later appearances. The shifting form, every night a different arrangement, every mind in the pile trying to sit near the front. The fixation on the ceiling, not a stage, not a table, a place no one can reach to tear you apart again. Instrumental anger. Mangle doesn't delight in the kill the way some late-game monsters seem to. It ruins your tools, steals your rhythm, and finishes you when you try to get the night back on track. That's anger with a specific goal. Stop the routine that led to this. Corporate denial built into the body. Take apart and put back together was marketed as enrichment. The company turned dismantling into a feature. So Mangle's psychology reads like a lawsuit that learned to walk. If a guard dies, management can still say, "It didn't even attack on sight. Must be operator error." Sound familiar? Alright, theory hour. What does all of this mean for Mangle? Here's the strongest read, and then a side path for the lore tinkerers. Likeliest theory? The composite ghost. Mangle is a multi-soul amalgam pinned to the same chassis. The repeated tearing and reassembly turned body and identity into a tangle. No stable front face, no single eye. This accounts for the 2-head look, the way it occupies multiple planes, vent, hall, ceiling, and the delayed kills. Attention first, execution second. It also fits the 87-byte suspicion, a creature that routinely occupies head height in daylight and comes down from above, not across the floor. Alternative fan reading? The echo of a prank. Strip the possession for a second. Imagine Mangle started as a pure service robot, built cheap, thrown into Kids' Cove to keep kids busy. The prank was corporate. The echo is the behavior. Jam the sound, ruin the plan, flip the night. No spirit required to explain the personality. Later, the haunting arrives and adopts the prank. Now it's both. A bad idea with a soul on top. Spicier link to the larger myth, agony-made network. Carry over the agony frame, suffering crystallized in metal. Then Mangle becomes a node, not a person. Pain attracts pain. Every piece of wire is a line in a web. That's why the model looks better at being bad the more it's taken apart. The network gets denser. Let's keep clean about what's on screen versus what we infer. Supported by gameplay, Mangle starts in Kids' Cove, moves through right hall/vent, emits radio static. The mask can deter mid-entry, but not after it's in the office. At the ceiling, it often waits until a camera flip to kill. Common community reading. Mangle is a main 87-byte candidate due to head-level positioning and the timeline. Inferred. Composite souls versus single occupant. Agony as network. Corporate intent beyond kids will enjoy fixing it. The story likes fog here. What's solid is the behavior pattern. Before we wrap, a quick practical map for new players so the psychology doesn't eat your run. Treat the static as a siren. If you hear it, triage the right vent fast. Don't greed the box. Sips, not gulps. Mangle punishes long cams. Ceiling presence equals planning for death. When it's overhead, minimize flips. Buy time, but expect the hit. Right side bias. Build a micro rhythm. Box arrow, mask check arrow, right vent tap arrow, hall flash for foxy arrow repeat. One last image to leave in your head. Kids Cove after hours. The party banner hangs crooked. Someone forgot a balloon in the back. It's half deflated and touching the sticky floor. On the table, a pile of white and pink and wire. It trembles. A hand finds a shoulder that isn't a shoulder. A second face looks up. No stage, no applause, just a room that taught a machine it would never be whole. That's the mind you're up against. If you enjoyed this breakdown, remember to leave a like, comment down below with what you want to see next, and of course, subscribe to Horror Lorekeeper for more FNAF and horror content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.